So last night we had a big election in Wisconsin, and Bernie Sanders is continuing the surge. So he won with about 56.5% of the vote, and that means that he's still alive in this race, and he picked up some delegates and chipped away at Hillary Clinton's lead. But now moving forward, I think Wyoming is on Saturday. He's going to have to win that, which he most likely will because of the demographic makeup and a bunch of other stuff. But then New York is the real test, my state. So New York votes after that, and the most recent polls in New York have Bernie Sanders down about 10%. He can't afford to lose New York because there's so many delegates at stake in New York. And then obviously after that, you have New Jersey and you have California that has a ridiculous amount of delegates. So what we need to see here is Bernie pull out those victories. Now, think about it. After Arizona, what did the article say? Or actually, it was just before Arizona. What did the article say? Moving forward, Bernie Sanders needs to win about 58% of the delegates, and if he does, then he wins. If he doesn't do that, he loses. So he got himself into a little bit of a hole because the South came first, and then all the other states came. Now we're out of southern states. Now it's all Bernie Sanders territory in terms of favorability and demographic makeup of the states. And ever since he had to win about 58% of the delegates moving forward, what has he done? He's won about 58% of the delegates moving forward. In fact, some of his victories have been so crushing that on given nights, his average margin of victory was well over 58%. So he's doing it, man. He's hanging in there and he's fighting through. And obviously, the most important reason as to why he's continuing his success is the people. You know, everybody saw when his back was against the wall against Hillary. We don't want Hillary Clinton to be the Democratic nominee. What do we have to look forward to? So people are coming out in large numbers here for Bernie Sanders, and he knows that. He's said it before. We've said it before. This movement isn't about him as much as it's about the philosophy that he represents, which is a philosophy of social democracy, which is basically what most other modern nations on the planet are doing now. So all he wants is a better balance between socialism and capitalism. Give us universal health care, universal college, clean elections, paid vacation time by law. We're not looking to do a genuine revolution and, rework the way the entire system is done. We're looking for a political revolution to end the corruption and to have a government that represents us and does the basic necessities. To ask for what they have in Scandinavia is not crazy. It makes sense because when you look at the data, they actually beat us in all these relevant categories. So if you want to be number one in the world, and this is a message to all the Republicans too, you want to be number one in the world? Okay, well then let's move in that direction. The direction Bernie Sanders is trying to take us is the direction that makes sense and could get us to number one in the world again. So Hillary's camp has to be scared. They have to be scared because when you look at the polling projections from what happened in Wisconsin, I mean, you only have to go back a few months to see Bernie Sanders down like 50 points. And then he just closes the gap, boom, wins on election day. Man, that is a Tiger Woods surge if I've ever seen it. Tiger Woods charge. Probably not the best example to use now that he's injured and he's been playing shitty, but Tiger Woods from his prime. You're up 9 strokes ahead of me with 9 holes to go? That's nice. I'm going to beat you. As he did, I think it was to Ernie Els in some random tournament in the late 90s. But that's what Bernie Sanders is doing right now. I'm nervous. I'm nervous thinking about it all. Now, on the Republican side, we have some interesting developments. So Ted Cruz crushed Trump by over 10 points. He won by about 13 points. And that means that now there's over a 70% chance of a contested Republican convention. Because moving forward, Donald Trump needs 54% of the delegates in order to win the nomination outright, which doesn't look likely that he'll get that. And Ted Cruz would need 85% of the delegates to win outright, which is just flat out not happening. So what's going to happen is it's going to be a contested convention. There's over a 70% chance it's going to be a contested convention. And the shit is going to hit the fan when that happens. The shit is going to hit the fan because no matter what, there's going to be a large swath of the Republican base that's unhappy. And honestly, you can't blame them for that. And I've said it before, and some people in my audience have taken issue with me when I've said it, but I say it because I think it's true. If Donald Trump has the plurality of the votes going into the convention, which I think he almost certainly will, yeah, I think he should get the nomination. He doesn't have a majority, I know, but he has a plurality, which means he still has more votes than anybody else in the race. So imagine that's against, they tried to pull some bullshit like that on Bernie Sanders. Let's say Bernie Sanders had a plurality of the votes. And more votes than anybody else he's running against. Would Bernie supporters out there be like, no, it's cool. Let's contest it and let's have somebody try to steal it from him? No, we'd say he has the most votes. It's not a majority, but it's a plurality. He should get the nomination. Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's true whether it's Hillary Clinton that gets it, whether it's Bernie Sanders that gets it, whether it's Donald Trump that gets it, whether it's anybody else that gets it, because I believe in a system that actually makes fucking sense. I'm still mad about Al Gore winning the popular vote by 500,000 votes and then actually losing the election to George W. Bush because of the stupid-ass Electoral College. I know, I believe me, I have a degree in this shit. I know the whole purpose of the Electoral College. I just don't think it's a good idea anymore. So, call me crazy. If Trump has the plurality of votes, I think he should get the nomination. And they're almost certainly going to try to jack it from him because the Republican establishment doesn't like him because they view him as uncontrollable. So don't, mix it up in your mind here that they think, oh, we're against Donald Trump because he's racist and he's pro-torture. Are you crazy? He just comes out and says in normal language what they've been saying, the Republican establishment has been saying in coded language for over a decade, probably since the 1980s. So he comes out and he says it. The neocons did torture. They believed in torture. They used it. And then he comes along and just says it, yeah, I'm going to torture. And then they feign outrage like the reason they're against him is because he's doing the same things that they're in favor of. No. The reason they're against him is because they think we don't know if he'll listen to the donors. We don't know if corporate America is going to be, the people who steer his campaign. And you can't have that on the Republican side. See, on the Republican side, they just use the evangelical voters. They just use the white nationalists in order to try to get elected. And then when they get in there, they listen to their corporate overlords. Donald Trump, they're afraid that he might actually be his own man in there. And who knows what the fuck he'll do if he's his own man. Maybe he will start doing protectionism and, he wouldn't let corporations go overseas and fuck over American workers and make more profit that way. Nobody knows what he would do. I mean, it's also possible he goes in there and he randomly invades Russia and we have World War III and a nuclear holocaust and then the world is over. That's also possible too, but that doesn't factor in nearly as much to their considerations as who's going to listen to the donors. So that's why they try to trot out Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan and all these other people to say, don't you want these people, Republican base? And they said, fuck no, not interested. So because Cruz won Wisconsin, it's almost certainly going to be a contested convention now, over a 70% chance. And it's going to be such a shit show to watch what happens there. So for people who are political junkies, buckle up.